Hi, welcome you all to Free Lectures YouTube channel. So in this video we will discuss about boundary condition in electrostatic field. So this is very important topic in electrostatic. So for university exam maybe this question as for part B 15 mark question, very important. So now we move on to the topic. So far we are consider the existence of electric field in homogeneous medium. What is homogeneous medium? Homogeneous medium is nothing but the material property that is either permittivity or conductivity does not vary with space or does not vary with coordinate x, y, z. In case of Cartesian coordinate, is nothing but homogeneous. So if the field exists in a region consists of two different media, that the field must satisfy at the interface separating the media is called boundary condition. So this is the definition for boundary condition. So definition: if the field exists in a region consists of two different media, that the field must satisfy at the interface separating the media are called boundary condition. So the boundary conditions are helpful in determining the field of one side of the boundary if the field on the other side is known. By means of boundary condition, we find the field on one side. Suppose we know the other side field quantity value. This is the application of boundary condition. And next step, obviously the condition will dictated by the types of material by the media made of. Mainly this boundary condition depends on material on which the media made of. So next point, we shall consider the boundary condition at interface separating with respect to three cases. Case 1 dielectric and dielectric, case 2 conductor and dielectric, case 3 conductor and free space. So we need to discuss with respect to these three cases. So to determine the boundary condition, we need to use the Maxwell equation and Gauss law. Maxwell equation and Gauss law. Maxwell equation and Gauss law. So here first one indicate the Maxwell equation, that is integral over closed path E dot dl is equal to 0, and the second one indicate the Gauss law, that is integral over closed path closed surface d dot ds equal to charge enclosed. This is equation 2. So while deriving expression for boundary condition, so we need to use these two formulas. That is, one is Maxwell, another one is Gauss law. So now also E and D are decomposed into two components. So normally E, that is electric field density, and electric flux density are decomposed of two orthogonal components. So E can be written as Et plus En and D can be written as dt plus Tn. This is considered as equation number 3. So where Et and En are tangential and normal component of E to the interface of interest, and dt and Dn are tangential and normal component of D to the interface of interest. So now we move on to the first case, dielectric boundary condition. So while considering dielectric, boundary condition, so we are choosing one boundary, that is interface by the curved line. So in that we choose, this is medium 1. Above that line we consider medium 1 have the permittivity, relative permittivity of the medium is epsilon r1, and below the boundary line we have medium 2, that is considered as relative permeability of the medium 2. So now we are considering for applying the Maxwell equation, so we need to consider the closed path. It's common between both the medium 1 and medium 2. So for that we are forming one closed path A, B, C, D, A. So have the length width is del h, del w, and h is del Now we need to define the component of electric field with respect to medium. So while considering medium 1, already we know the concept tangent line. So with respect to this point, with respect to boundary, we need to tangent line. So tangent line is along with boundary, that is along this path, and normal line is simply perpendicular to tangent. So this En1, then resultant of these two gives E1. Similarly for medium 2, tangent line is this one and normalize is this one. While adding these two, we get E2 value. So now from this figure we can derive the first boundary condition corresponding to E. So already we know from Maxwell equation interval over closed path E dot dl is equal to 0. Interval over closed path E dot dl is equal to 0. This means over the closed path multiplication of electric field intensity and length is equal to 0. So now we need to write this expression with respect to this closed path. So while considering A to B, so A to B, along A to B the field is ET1, that is ET1 is the field, multiply the corresponding length. What is the length? Into del W. This is the first with respect to line AB. Then while considering B to C, we have two medium. So up to this interface we have one medium. So after that we have another one medium, that is medium 1 and medium 2. So first we have to define with respect to medium 1. So with respect to medium 1, so here the field, the direction now is indicated in downward direction, but in the medium 1 the normal is just opposite. So for that we need to consider minus En1 into corresponding distance. So En1 into corresponding distance is simply, here this distance is simply divided into half. So above medium 1 we have the height del h by 2, in medium 2 also we have del h by 2. So multiply with h del h by 2. Then we move on to the line C to D. Line C to D, the path is moving from C to D along this direction, but in medium 2 the E is tangential component is just opposite. So for that minus ET2 into the length is del W. Then we move on to the next one, that is along D to A. Along to D to A we consider two medium. So first we need to consider with respect to medium 2. While considering medium 2, normal corresponding to medium 2 and the path both are same. So for that we are considering plus E2n. E2n is multiply with the distance. What is the distance? Distance is del h by 2. What about last one? So we are considering this path. So along this path the direction, closed path direction and En1 are same. So we can write En1 or E1n into del h by 2. H by 2 is equal to 0. Now while solving this, so E2n I think we are left over one term with respect to this. So while considering this B2 midpoint, we have the field just opposite to En1 and height is del h by 2, this one, and we need to write boundary line to C also. Corresponding to that we have field is from downward direction, but here normal is just opposite. For that minus E2n into del h by 2. So now while solving this, E2n del h by 2 minus, so here plus, and E1n del h by 2 minus, here we have minus sign, here we have plus sign. So finally we get ET1 into del W minus E2t into del W is equal to 0. So again this equation divided by del W we get ET1 is equal to ET2 or E1t is equal to E2t. This is the condition with respect to first case. Yes. So here, so consider E field exists in the region consisting of two different media characterized by epsilon 1 is equal to epsilon naught epsilon r1, epsilon 2 and epsilon 2 is equal to epsilon naught epsilon r2 as shown in figure above. So now E1 and E2 in media 1 and 2 respectively can be decomposed as two components. One is normal, another one is tangential. E2 also we have normal and tangential. This taken as equation number 4 and 5. So then we need to find the tangential component. Apply equation 1. What is equation 1? I already explained. Integral over closed path E dot dl is equal to 0. While applying this, so we get tangential component to the boundary. E dot dl is equal to 0. Closed path ABCDA of above figure, assuming that path is very small with respect to variation of E, we obtain. So already I defined all these equations. So finally we get E1t is equal to E2t. So here one of the important point, we need to get the boundary condition at the interface. So for that we need to assume that del H is equal to 0. So del H tends to 0 means we need to define the formula with respect to boundary line. So for that only del H tends to 0. Finally we get E1t is equal to E2t. This is equation number 7. Thus tangential component of E are same on both sides of the boundary. From the 7 we defined tangential component of E are same on both sides of the boundary. So next one, in other words, ET undergoes no changes on boundary and it is said to be, suppose no changes at the boundary means it's said to be called continuous across the boundary. So next one, since D is equal to epsilon I, already we know, again D is two component tangential normal, equation 7 can be written as. So now already we found this value. So again E1t can be written as D1t divided by epsilon 1, E2t can be written as D2t divided by epsilon 2. While matching these two expression, then we get D1t divided by epsilon 1 is equal to D2t divided by epsilon 2. This is equation number 8. So here D1t and D2t does not match directly each other. So some changes, dt undergoes some changes across the interface. So hence dt is said to be discontinuous across the interface. So next point, we need to find the normal component. So normal component generally we define with respect to in above figure we consider second figure. With respect to second figure we need to define the normal component. So we are consider one Gaussian surface. We have the cross sectional area del S. Here also we have del S. This is the figure. So for this also we need to define tangential and normal component with respect like above case. So now similarly we apply the equation number 2. What is equation number 2? Integral over d dot ds is equal to q. D dot ds is equal to q over closed surface, that is important. So over the closed surface d dot ds is equal to 0. This is equation 2. As figure B mentioned above, allowing del H. This is the general concept because we need to derive the expression with respect to boundary. So for the del H tends to 0 gives. So already we know Q can be written as D1, that is D1n, normal component is multiplied with del S, and again already we know Q is nothing but, that is Q per area is nothing but surface charge rho S. So from that we can find del Q is equal to rho S into del S. This is this equation. So now this equation is mentioned as equation number 9. So next, where rho S is nothing but free charge density placed deliberately at the boundary. So if no free charge exists at the boundary of interface, then rho S is equal to 0. Because Q value is 0 means automatically rho S value is 0. So rho S 0 means automatically we consider D1n is equal to D2n. On the other case, so we can write integral over closed surface d dot ds can be written as, with respect to medium 1 we have the normal direction d1n into del S. With respect to medium 2 we have the area del S in the negative direction, so minus d2n into del S. Del S is equal to 0. So now while solving this, finally we get del d1n is equal to d2n. This is equation number 10. So thus the normal component of D is continuous across the boundary of interface, that is D1 undergo no changes at the boundary. So similarly from D we can derive the expression for E. So since d is equal to epsilon e above equation, that is equation number 10, can be written as epsilon 1 e1n is equal to epsilon 2 e2n. This is considered as equation number 2. Showing so above equation 11 shows that the normal component of E is discontinuous because these two normal component directly does not match each other. So we have the epsilon value. So that is E is discontinuous at the boundary. So equation 7 and 9 or 10 are the collectively referred as boundary condition. They must satisfy an electric field at the boundary separating two different dielectric mediums. So next one, refraction at the boundary. So here the concept is, so now in medium 1 we have the electric field E2. While passes through the boundary, it gets some reflection, some changes in the E1 value. So now E1, E2, in medium 1 the field is E2, medium 2 is field 1, medium 1 field is E1. So now theta 1 and theta 2 is nothing but, I defined here, consider D1 E1 and D2 E2 are making angle theta 1 and theta 2 with the normal to the interface. With respect to normal, E2 and E1 make an angle theta 2 and theta 1, and we can use the boundary condition to determine the refraction of the electric field across the interface. We need to find the refraction of electric field across the boundary by means of this diagram. So here already we know D is nothing but epsilon E. So majority of cases D is larger compared with E. For major material D is greater than E. So for that we are considering this is tangential component, this is normal, that is E2T, E2N, this is the resultant D2. Similarly, along with tangential component of E, we need to write the tangential component of D, and along with E2N, normal component of E, we can define normal component of D, and the resultant is D2. So same case applicable for medium 1 also. This is tangential E1T, this is normal. While adding these two, we get E1. Similarly, this total line is D1T, this is D1N. While adding these two, we get D1. This is the figure. Here permittivity epsilon 1 in medium 1, medium 2 we have permittivity epsilon 2. So now figure shows the refraction of D and E at the dielectric boundary. So now from the figure we can define sin theta 1. So sin theta 1 is nothing but simply opposite. Sin theta is nothing but opposite divided by hypotenuse. And here also same, from the figure, above figure, sin theta 1 is equal to opposite, that means E1n, sorry, sin theta 1 opposite is this side compulsory equal to E1t. So sin theta is equal to E1t divided by hypotenuse, that is E1. So here it shows the E1t divided by E1. Similarly, sin theta 2 can be written as, in the medium 2 we can written as sin 2t divided by E2. So from this already we know dielectric boundary E1t is equal to E2t. So E1 sin theta 1 is equal to E2 sin theta 2. This is equation number 12. Similarly, from figure we need to find cos theta 1 in terms of flux density. We can get opposite side divided by hypotenuse. So we can get D1n divided by D1. This is nothing but adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. Adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. Similarly, with respect to medium 2, we get D2n divided by D2. While rearranging this above 2 expression, we get D1n1 is equal to D1n is equal to D1 cos theta 1, D2n is equal to D2 cos theta 2. So now D is changed to, similarly, by applying equation, already we know with respect to flux density, normal component are equal. So simply we are equating these two equation. And next step we can replace D by epsilon E. While replacing D by epsilon E, we get the equation number 13. So now divide equation number 12 and 13. So already we have 12 and 13. While divide that equation, we get tan theta 1 by epsilon 1 is equal to tan theta 2 divided by epsilon 2. So since epsilon 1 is equal to epsilon naught epsilon r1 and epsilon 2 is equal to epsilon naught epsilon r2, then equation 14 become tan theta 1 divided by tan theta 2 is equal to epsilon r1 divided by epsilon r2. This is equation number 15. So this is the law of refraction at the boundary free of charge, that is rho s is equal to 0 case. So next one, thus in general an interface between two dielectric produces bending of flux lines as a result of unequal polarization charges that accumulate on the sides of the interface. This is the reason for the refraction at the interface, that is bending of flux lines at the interface due to accumulation of charges due to polarization at the interface. So next one, next case, conductor dielectric boundary conditions. So again we need to consider same case. So already we discussed in previous lectures with respect to properties of material. So inside the conductor electric field is 0. So here in the medium, this medium is considered as conductor, this medium is considered as conductor. In conductor electric field is 0. So in this is considered as a dielectric. We have the permittivity epsilon is equal to epsilon naught epsilon. So here also we need to write the same Maxwell equation, that is integral over closed surface E dot dl is equal to 0 case. We need to write. So what is the answer we get? So with respect to AB, the field is 0, so automatically value is 0, that is del W into 0. What about along this line? Along this path also value is 0, so that is plus del H by 2 into 0. And the next one, along this path, this path is downward direction, but here the field is in upward direction, so minus En into corresponding distance. What is the distance? Del H by 2. What about next one? So here tangential and this del W both are in opposite sign, so minus Et del W. What about next case? With respect to C to middle line, here the field is in upward direction, but tangential also, normal is also in upward direction, so we can written as En into distance is again same, del H by 2. So now solving this term and this term get cancelled, simply we get Et is equal to 0. From this we can conclude that Et is equal to 0. So the conductor are assumed to be perfect. Sigma tends to infinity and rho c charge density is equal to 0. Although such conductor not practically realizable, we may regard conductor such as copper or silver as though they were perfect conductors. So to determine the boundary condition for the conductor dielectric interface, we follow the same procedure used in dielectric interface, except that we incorporate fact E is equal to 0 inside the conductor. While solving this, we are already explained this equation number 16. So finally we get Et as del H is nothing but at the boundary Et is equal to 0. When Et is equal to 0, similarly we can get the by applying the second equation, that is Gauss law, for the Gaussian surface. So letting del H tends to 0, then we get del Q is equal to dN into del S minus 0 into del S, because in the second boundary the E value is 0. Medium 2 is the perfect conductor, E value is 0. So E 0 means automatically D is also 0. That is indicated by this one. So after that, so because D is equal to epsilon E inside the conductor, equation 18 can be written as, so again 18 can be written as dN is equal to del Q divided by del S equal to rho S. So dN is equal to rho S. This is equation number 19. So next one, thus under static condition the following conclusion may be made about perfect conductor. No electric field may be exist within the conductor, rho V is equal to 0 and E is equal to 0. That is equation number 20. Since E is equal to minus del V is equal to 0, there can be no potential difference between 2 points in the conductor, that is conductor is an equipotential body. So the electric field E can be external to the conductor and normal to its surface, tangential component of both 0 and normal. So tangential component both are 0. Normal component can be written as dn can be written as rho s, and en can be written as rho s divided by epsilon naught epsilon r. This is equation number 21. So an important application of that is very important. The important application of that is boundary that is conductor dielectric is used in electrostatic screening and shielding. We are using the concept is in screening and shielding application. So next one, last one, conductor free space boundary conditions. So in that we are considering this is the conductor, here free space. Here free space means epsilon r value is 1. This is the only one change. So from the previous derivation, simply equate epsilon r is equal to 1, then we get the condition for conductor free space boundary condition. So the boundary condition that at the interface between the conductor and free space can be obtained by equation number 21, simply replacing epsilon r is equal to 1. While replacing that, we get the equation 22. It should be noted that equation 22 implies E must be approaches a conducting surface normally. So next video will be on problem in boundary condition. We will discuss one problem in boundary condition. Thank you all. Suppose if you have any doubt, please comment in chat comment box or chat box. Comment box. We will discuss about that doubt topic or doubt area. Thank you all. Thank you for watching. Thank you.